Amelia had just moved into a small apartment on the edge of the city after accepting a new job. She was independent, careful, and always aware of her surroundings. She enjoyed the quiet of her new neighborhood, the way the trees lined the street, the soft hum of the city in the background. Her building was old but charming, with ivy crawling up its brick walls and the occasional creak in the floorboards that made it feel lived in. For the first time in a while, Amelia felt like she had found peace, but it didn't last long. It started small. Her mailbox would be open when she came home from work, even though she remembered locking it. Sometimes there would be packages on her doorstep, sealed, addressed to her, but with no return address. At first, she assumed it was a shipping error, or maybe even a kind neighbor. But when she opened them and found things like single gloves, used notebooks, or half-burned candles, unease began to settle in her stomach. Then came the texts. Unknown numbers. Messages that were oddly specific. "That blue scarf looks nice on you. I didn't know you liked jazz. The pasta place on 7th was a good choice." She hadn't posted anything online. She hadn't told anyone where she was going that day. Her phone was on her at all times. She started to panic. She changed her number, got a new SIM card, and even reset all her passwords. But the messages didn't stop. They just started appearing as handwritten notes, left in her mailbox, slipped under her door, tucked into her windshield wipers. One night she came home to find all her cabinet doors open. Nothing was taken, nothing was broken, but someone had been there. She called the police. They took her statement and checked the apartment. No signs of forced entry. "Probably forgot to close them," one of them said casually before leaving. But Amelia knew better. A few days later, while checking her mail, she found a photograph. It was a picture of her sitting on her couch in her apartment. The shot was taken from outside the window. The curtains had been drawn slightly, just enough for a lens to peek through. That night she didn't sleep. She shoved a chair under the doorknob, locked every window, and stayed up with a kitchen knife in her hand. But nothing happened. Not that night. A week later, she was taking the trash out when she noticed something carved into the side of the dumpster. 3 words: "Still with you." She moved in with a friend across the city. She took time off work. She tried to disappear. And for a few weeks it worked. No notes, no texts, no signs that she was being followed. Her anxiety began to ease. She started sleeping again, even smiled once or twice. Then came the package, delivered to her friend's address. No return label, inside a single Polaroid photo. It was her, sleeping, in her friend's guest room. She called the police again, this time more frantic. They took it more seriously. They set up a patrol car near the property, interviewed neighbors, and asked if she had any enemies or obsessive exes. But there were no leads, no evidence, just fear. A few nights later, she woke up gasping. Her bedroom window was open. She was sure she'd locked it. On the sill, another note, this one handwritten in messy red ink. "I never left." She moved again. New apartment, no forwarding address. She even changed her name at work. A friend helped her install cameras, alarms, extra locks. She tried to live normally, even went on a few dates, rejoined her book club. But the fear never fully left. One rainy night while walking home from the train station, a car slowed beside her. The windows were tinted. She picked up her pace. But as it passed, the driver rolled the window down. A man's voice calmly said, "Long time no see, Amelia." She froze. The car disappeared into the night. She moved again the next day. And now, every so often, she gets another reminder. A note in the mail, a voice on the phone, a reflection in a window that shouldn't be there. Whoever he is, he never stopped watching. Like and subscribe now. Are you brave enough to join the hunt? Nathan had always considered himself a calm guy. He was used to working nights. He liked the stillness of the world when most people were asleep. He worked at a 24-hour convenience store in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing ever really happened. The graveyard shift was slow, repetitive. The beeping of the scanner, the soft hum of the refrigerator units, the occasional customer in pajama pants buying milk or cigarettes. But then he started showing up. The man appeared sometime in late autumn. He was tall, lanky, with thinning, greasy hair and eyes that were too wide, like he never blinked. He wore the same coat every time, an old, oversized brown trench coat that looked like it had seen decades of rain and smoke. And he always came in after midnight. Always, as if he had set an alarm. He never spoke, not a word. Just walked in, slowly grabbed a small bottle of water and a notebook from aisle 3, brought them to the counter. Nathan would scan the items, mutter the total. The man would pay in cash, exact change. Then he'd just stand there, for minutes, staring. Nathan tried to make small talk at first. Long night? Cold out there, huh? But the man never answered, never smiled, just stared unblinking. It became routine. Every night at 12:17 exactly, he'd arrive. He'd buy his water and notebook. He'd stare. Then one night things changed. That shift had been particularly quiet. No customers for nearly an hour. Nathan was reading a magazine behind the counter when he noticed it. A notebook, left sitting there. The man's notebook. At first, Nathan didn't want to touch it, but curiosity got the better of him. He opened it. His hand started shaking almost immediately. It was filled with notes, detailed observations about him, about Nathan, his full name, his apartment number, the exact time he left for work, what brand of cereal he liked, what time his lunch break was, names of friends he'd only ever mentioned in private conversations. It was pages and pages of him, his life, his habits, things no one should know. The next page had a rough sketch of Nathan's apartment building, the next a drawing of Nathan behind the counter, the exact shirt he was wearing that day. And then came the photos. They were low quality, grainy, taken from a distance. Nathan at the bus stop. Nathan unlocking his front door. Nathan on his balcony. One of them was taken from behind, inside his apartment, showing Nathan watching TV. Nathan dropped the notebook and backed away from it like it was on fire. He called the police immediately. When they arrived, they examined it, took a report. They promised to look into it, but their tone was indifferent. "There's no direct threat," one officer said. "Creepy, yeah, but technically he hasn't done anything illegal." Nathan wanted to scream. "He's been inside my apartment." But there was no proof, no witnesses, no break-in signs. A few days later, the man returned. Nathan's heart nearly stopped when he saw him walk through the automatic doors. Same coat, same empty expression. But this time, he spoke. "Why'd you read my journal, Nathan?" Nathan froze. "The police have it," he said. The man tilted his head and smiled, a thin, unnatural smile. "It's okay. I've got others." And with that, he turned and walked out into the foggy night. Nathan thought he was done with it. He installed cameras at home, changed locks, bought a bat to keep under the counter. He even started commuting by different routes, taking Ubers instead of walking. But a week later, he found a notebook on his windshield. Same handwriting, same nightmare. He opened it. It documented his last 72 hours in terrifying detail: what he'd eaten, who he spoke to, his calls, what time he showered, what he wore to sleep, a drawing of his bedroom with him in it. Then came more notebooks, one a week, sometimes two, always appearing somewhere new, under his doormat, slipped through the mail slot left on his pillow. One notebook contained a timeline, not of the past, but the future. It listed times he would leave his house, where he'd go, who he'd see, all of it accurate. Another had a floor plan of his apartment, with red X's marked at the windows. One photo had him asleep, taken from outside in the dead of night. He moved. He quit his job. But the notebooks followed. Now Nathan barely sleeps. He checks his locks 10 times a night. He keeps a knife on his nightstand and avoids windows. He doesn't even tell people where he lives anymore. And yet every week another notebook finds him. The last one arrived yesterday. It had only one page, a single sentence: "I'm already inside."